Hi and welcome. In this video, I'm going to be giving you another tip and a very simple drill that you could do, which could actually help you to gain distance off the tee without actually having to do any speed training. Additionally, I'll also be going through my week 7 recap of how I've been getting on with my speed training and my goal to get to PGA Tour swing speed. Okay, let's get into the simple drill this week. And as you can see from the thumbnail, it's all about swing path. Now, just in case you're unaware, swing path is basically the direction that your club is coming into the ball from on the downswing. Now, that's normally split into two directions. We have a path called inside, which basically means that the club is coming from inside the golf ball, so between where you stand and where the ball is, and is normally associated with better players and players that tend to draw the golf ball. The other is what we call an outside swing path, and an outside swing path means that the club is basically coming from outside of the golf ball. Now, this tends to be the sort of swing path that most amateurs tend to have, and it also tends to mean that that can introduce shots that tend to slice, and we see that as a very common problem with a number of amateur golfers. But why is path important to power? Well, basically, with the right path or a better path, we're able to transfer more of the club head speed directly into ball speed. And obviously we know that ball speed is then what creates distance. I want you to think of this as if we make the swing correctly and we get a good club path, it's almost like a boxer hitting a knockout punch. You're getting the club right into the ball and it's like a knockout punch straight on the chin. If we don't have the path quite correctly, we're getting more of a sort of a glancing blow of a punch. So there's contact, but we're not just maximizing the impact. It's kind of catching, but it's not a knockout punch. Right, so let's hop straight outside. Let's grab a little bit of data and let's watch me hit a couple of golf swings. My normal golf swing where I'm trying to get the path slightly from the inside, and then a swing where you can see that I'm really making an effort to get the club coming down from the outside to create much more of the sort of swing that we tend to see from most amateur golfers, which is where the club comes from the outside and comes across the golf ball. Right, well, I hope those couple of swings were quite interesting and you could clearly see, even at full speed, the slight difference in the path. So now what we'll do is we'll pop a little bit of data up here and we'll have a look at those two different swings and we'll see what the difference looks like. So you can see that ultimately the swing speed was around about a mile an hour difference, so not a huge amount. But one of the big keys that we can see here is how much difference the ball speed is. When I delivered the club in the way that I like to deliver the club, you can see that we were just over 159 miles an hour ball speed. Whereas when we look below that at the path that I made specifically to get the club coming from the outside of the golf ball, so in that kind of more slicers golf swing, you'll see that the ball speed on that swing dropped down to 152 miles an hour. Now, this may seem quite excessive, but as I made a number of different swings, I could clearly see that the difference between the ball speeds was somewhere between 5, 6, 7 miles an hour consistently, just purely based on how we're delivering the club. And ultimately, that of its own is going to impact distance. So the second factor that this path influences is spin numbers. Now, we know, if you've watched any of my other videos or any of my ball testing, I routinely tend to get my ball spin with a driver somewhere around 2,000 to 2,500-ish in revs. And we can see from the swing that I've made where I've delivered the club as I normally would do, I've got just over 2,500 RPMs. Now, if we then look down at the one below, where we can now see I've swung that outward path, we can see that I've managed to raise the spin to well over 4,000 1,000 RPMs. And that basically is not only stealing yards because the ball is floating, but also, as you saw from the shape of shot that I ended up hitting, which is quite natural, the ball is slicing, which means that its forward momentum is stopping and it's actually tailing off to the right. So not only are we losing distance from ball speed, we're also losing distance from backspin, but additionally, we're also losing distance from the fact that as the ball comes to the end of its flight, it's not moving forward, it's flailing off to the right-hand side. At the end of the day, what this means, as you can see, is that my carry distance was around about 20 yards in difference. Now, for me out on the golf course, that's 2 clubs just on that alone. So that would mean that on a hole where I would normally hit driver 8 iron, if I had that outside path and hit that shot, that would become driver 6 iron, and that's exceptionally difficult to deal with. If we then add that to my tip from a few weeks back where we were talking about tee height, that again had a significant influence, again getting around the 20-yard mark. So if we have a person that swings from the outside and tees the ball low, there's potential to gain significant distance just by delivering the club in a better path to a correct tee height that allows you to maximize ball speed, maintain a decent spin number, and just gain and gain on carry distance. Okay, so we've had a look at the 2 swings. We've had a look over the data and the difference that a path can actually make on the outcome of your golf shot. So before we move on to the really simple drill that can help you with this, it's really now time for you to like the video and please subscribe to the channel. So this drill is really, really simple and straightforward to do. And again, a bit like the tee height drill, you don't even need to be hitting golf balls. So you can actually do this anywhere where you've got space just to be able to swing a driver, and you can combine it with the tee height drill that we covered in a couple of weeks back. And I'll just pop that video up here for you so as you can see it. Ultimately, what we want to do now is put an item to the outside of the golf ball and a little bit back from the golf ball, and you'll see this on the video that I'm going to be showing you. Now, to start off with, one of the things that I've chosen is an empty box of balls. Now, please make sure this is an empty box of balls, just in case you do make contact with it. But ultimately, what we want to be doing is we want to make sure that as we swing the club, we're avoiding the box of balls that's on the outside of the golf ball. Now, this subconsciously will probably surprise you, but it's quite difficult to hit that box of golf balls, even if you have a swing that's outside the line under normal circumstances, because you know that that item is there. You know ultimately that you're not supposed to hit it. It's really, really interesting to see how it can directly influence path in quite an immediate and sudden way. The second thing that's really, really easy to put by the side of the golf ball on the outside and slightly back from it is your driver head cover. Ultimately, if you're going to be practicing with your driver, you're going to have your driver head cover to hand, and you can lay that down by the side of the golf ball on the outside, slightly back, as you can see me demonstrating here in this video. And again, it works on exactly the same principle. Because that item is there, it's not going to damage your club. You're not going to lose it if you do accidentally hit it. But subconsciously, I think you'll find that it's very, very difficult to actually hit that shot and hit that head cover really, really heavily. And anything that you can do to straighten up that path, even by a degree or two, is actually just going to create gains. And if you can get to the point where you can neutralize it or get it as close to neutral or slightly inside, then suddenly you'll be able to see the maximization of your club head speed into ball speed. So there you go. And again, if you combine this path practice with the tee height drill that we did, neither of which need you to be hitting a golf ball. So as long as you've got enough space to swing a driver, you can do this wherever. Then ultimately there's gains to be had if you've got the correct tee height and you attack that correctly, and you've got the path coming in from a much better position, which is then going to allow you to maximize the the swing speed that you've got in the club head into the back of the golf ball. Right, so now that's my simple tip and drill out the way. Let's have a touch back on my week of speed training to try and get myself to PGA Tour swing speed. Obviously from last week I had that slight niggle in my back, but I managed to complete 2 speed training sessions this week to ease myself back into the flow of it and just make sure that there was nothing sinister going on that would actually impact or hurt me further. And touch wood, so far so good. As you can see, the first session, I reached 101 miles an hour with the 195 gram weights. And you can see that none of the swings were below 100 miles an hour. And I was quite pleased with that with my first session. I went into my second session after having played a round of golf earlier in the morning. I came back home and I got out to do my speed training. And as you can see, that worked really well. And I've noticed this being a little bit of a pattern. On the days where I've played golf and I speed train after, my body's obviously naturally a little bit more relaxed, is naturally feeling a little bit better and my movement's a little bit better. And I can tend to be slightly quicker on those days than days where I just go out, do a very simple warm up of hitting a few golf balls and then go into my speed training. And as you can see from here, I managed to get to 102 miles an hour and none of my swings were below 101, which was absolutely fantastic. And again, that's where we want to start to make sure that we're getting, and then we can start to just raise that baseline up, up and up to try and get me to 105 or more as my baseline. So all in all, 2 sessions, pretty good. I did 1 workout session this week. That went quite well. I was quite happy with it. The second one I was going to do, but I picked up a little bit of a sniffly cold and I decided that I wanted to rest and just get myself back to full fitness. I'm feeling significantly better now, and that means I can hit back onto the resistance training again and go back to hopefully my 3 sessions of speed training, 2 sessions of strength training each week. Fortunately, even though I had a bit of a sniffly cold, my sleep wasn't bad, and that's obviously kept me reasonably refreshed, and I've taken it easy for a couple of days, and that's really helped me to get over my recovery. So that's about it for this week's video. I'm really looking forward to getting back to the speed training. The 101 and 102 swings that I put in this week have really remotivated me to really try and get after it over the next few sessions and see if I can gradually just start to eke that up 103, 104, 105. So I'm really motivated and looking forward to that. If you've enjoyed this video and you think the drill that I've given you has provided some value to you to help you with your golf game, then please don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and you might want to check out this video that I think you'll enjoy. I'm Graham, and I'll catch you on the course soon.